Are we live? Hi, everyone. This is Karen. I'm a health coach for women. I am so excited to have you in my live free let me. Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well. This is Karen. I'm a health coach for women, and I have a new master class on how to live or incorporate holistic living in your daily life. I'm very excited about this master class because it's something I'm very passionate about. So just say welcome, maybe put in the comments where you're watching us from. I'm currently in Washington State, and our community is very passionate about holistic living. So, and just a reminder that I am offering a $500 cash prize for my services, and there is a link in the comment of this masterclass. Just click holistic, and it'll send me a direct message so I know that you attended this masterclass. So, if there's no questions, I would just have you go ahead and just let's get started. And so I'd love to talk to you a little bit about what is holistic living. I love the quote from Socrates that says that the part can never be well unless the whole is well. And I really feel like that encompasses the holistic living. And what it is, it incorporates the whole person in the aspect of health and wellness. Now, in our healthcare system, we're primarily focused on the physical, but in the holistic world, we wanted to look at the whole person, and they are very much connected. And we're going to talk about how we could break down those areas. So, what we're going to talk about today is physical, emotional, spiritual, and social health, and how those are all connected. And I'm going to help incorporate real simple ways that you can do that to help improve your health. So let's go ahead and talk about our health system. That's something I'm very passionate about. We are one of the wealthiest nations in the earth, but our health outcomes are poor. In fact, we're number 37 globally and compared to other high income nations. So we don't live as long as other nations do. And we have a lot of top killers that are killing us earlier in life. So these are things such as heart disease, cancer, just any kind of accidents. And I'm just reading through a list that I created from the CDC website. Respiratory, things like COPD or asthma, cardiovascular accident, Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, influenza. There's so much that has affected our health. And when I look at this list, there's so much we can do on ourselves using a holistic approach. So even if you might have a family history of some health conditions that you're worried about, there's something you can start working on today to help you feel better. So let's look at the whole person. Let's start with physical health. In our society, we're very focused on tangible data as a marker of good health, and that's how our entire healthcare system is really focused on. We're looking at how our lab work looks. Do we have cholesterol or A1C, our data imaging, or a PET scan or a CT scan? We like that tangible result. And if we think if they're normal, then we're doing well, we're healthy. Well, there's just more to health than just looking at a normal test results or what the doctor told you. So you are the best person to tell if you're well and what you need to do to feel better. So that's why I feel like the physical health is a foundation, but we want to make sure when we interconnect these other areas of emotion, social, and spiritual, they do connect to your physical health. So we're going to work on that today. Um, the physical health is also a way that you can engage in physical activity, consume a good balanced diet, getting adequate sleep, and managing stress. So those are all aspects to help you feel better. And some of the things that I like to do is I like to incorporate just real natural ways, such as herbal supplements. I take supplements to help improve my health. because sometimes it's hard to get all those nutrients in the diet. Herbal teas, things that are organic and natural. I love to have a good cup of tea at night before I go to bed. Essential oils. I love essential oils. There's a few of my favorite. I love peppermint. It's really good for pain and discomfort. Another homeopathic remedies, massage, acupuncture, even seeing a chiropractor. The list just goes on about what you can do to incorporate natural and holistic ways to feel better. Last fall, I injured my knee and I went to the doctor and they couldn't really do anything. And then I did ultrasound on my knee for 6 sessions and my pain went away. There was no injections, there was no medication, but a completely natural way to heal my knee. And I tell you, I'm a real big fan of this. So some of the real quick steps that you can do to incorporate are this. I like to incorporate organic whole foods. Organics are very important because when we go to the grocery store and get a canned food of beans, we might as well get a fresh green beans. So because they have less chemicals, they have less MSGs, and anything to help preserve that food. So what happens with those chemicals that when you get it is that it can actually worsen your health and also could cause inflammation and a chemical reaction in your body with those preservatives in canned foods. So trying to get whole foods is very important. So I love getting fresh vegetables and fruit. So another one is again reducing processed foods. It's incredibly important to reduce the amount of processed foods. So another thing I like to do is just exercise, and I think everybody knows that we exercise and physical activity are important. One way I like to monitor my physical activities to even use my Apple Watch. I can monitor the amount of steps that I'm doing per day. Obviously, I have a membership to a gym and I make sure I go to that at least a few times a week. But if I have a busy day, what I like to do is I take a walk during my lunch break, even if it's 20 minutes. But if I don't get to do that, I come home. I have a kind of a nice little walkable area around my home, and I just get out and take a walk. I love looking at the greenery and the evergreen trees and the sunshine. It doesn't matter if it's raining or shining. I just like to get out and take a walk. And also too is creating a sleep hygiene. A sleep hygiene is a kind of a way for you to develop a routine before you go to bed. So that means turning off your cell phones, turning off the computer or the TV, and do something to just unwind, not only physically but mentally. Reading a book is a great way to do it. I personally like stretching. I like to follow a Tai Chi video that I have in my bedroom, and I like to kind of use that a way to kind of wind myself down mentally. And I love to put nature sounds in my house. I just love to hear the ocean or the water brook, just anything like that that's just very calming and natural to listen to. So those are some steps that I love to use to kind of incorporate natural living. And I want to also add environmental health is very important. I kind of put that under the physical area. I didn't know where to incorporate it, but I thought I added. Just this really involves your whole environment that's around you, your external environment. Things like wood burning stoves are really hard on you for people that even particularly have respiratory problems. So I would just say try to stay away from wood burning stoves. Home cleaning products. I personally can't use any of the chemicals in the home cleaning products. It gives me a headache. So try to get natural cleaning products. Make sure if you're in an older home, have it tested for any lead paint, or maybe your pipes to see if there's any erosion or any chemicals coming through. Just even clean drinking water. I love to use a really good quality water filter system to help make sure I am reducing the amount of any of those microbes that are coming in through the water and chemicals. So to make sure I'm optimizing a clean drinking water experience. So those are some of the things that I can do. And another one is if you live in an area that might have been exposed to any kind of radiation plant, you can always check with your public health department to see if your zip code has ever had a history of any chemicals. There's even ways that you can even test the soil in your ground to see if there's any radiation or any kind of toxins that are coming in through your soil. So there's a lot of great ways from a public health, environmental health perspective to see kind of how you can secure your home life. I know that's a lot of information, but but I do want to really highlight that, and I feel like it's important. So the next topic I want to talk about is emotional health. I feel like emotional health is incredibly important, and to incorporate into your life. So there's really good ways to look at the way that emotions are connected with your physical health. If you could think of a time when you've been very stressed or anxious, you felt your muscles tensed up, you felt like having a headache, you felt very anxious. So you know that those emotions are connected to your physical body and that there's a way to reduce the amount of exposure to your emotions to your physical health. So we're going to do a little activity in this module about how we can reduce our physical health. But to kind of bring awareness to that, and I feel like when I talked about sleep and the winding down in the evening, that's a way to kind of clear out your mind and to kind of reduce your emotional responses to what's going on in the day and not bring that to when you're trying to sleep and rest at night. So some of the things that you can do is to recognize your stress triggers. I know me, I don't like to drive in traffic. And so when I do, I put on the Calm app and I listen to meditation or I listen to calming music. So recognize your stress triggers is really important. Practice gratitude and joy every day. Even in the stressful world that we live in, I feel like we can always have something to be grateful for. And I feel like that's really important. And also doing self-talk, that's positive self-talk. And just talk about how you're beautiful, you are loved, you're gorgeous. Whatever you need to do, if you're struggling with your image, body image, do the very opposite of that negative self-talk and try to reverse it with something positive that does help bring you more joy and comfort to yourself when you are going through your life. And one thing I like to do is to practice an awareness practice. So an awareness practice is something that you do where you take 3 breaths in and you exhale 6 breaths. I do this when I am probably in a state of where there's some environmental or external factors that are causing stress. And we can't eliminate it, but we can change how we respond to that stressor. So what I would do is I breathe in for 3 and out for 6. So we just try it now. We go. And try that one more time. Breathe in for 3 and out for 6. And I really love how that helps reset my mind. And I'll do this and even incorporate something positive like, I've got this, or I am healthy, or I am well. So I try to incorporate like a positive self-talk during that time with my awareness practice. Now I do go into more detail in my free group, but we'll just use that one example. Other things that you can do are acupuncture, biofeedback. What are some meditation? I told you I'd love to do my meditation and guided imagery. And I've heard a lot of good things about therapeutic touch and how that can help release a lot of that tension in your body. But you could even do something natural like nature walks or just reading, something that I would recommend before going to sleep. So those are some really great examples for emotional self. You can just put in any other ideas that you love to incorporate because I'd love to hear it. You could just put it in the chat. So let's kind of transition to spiritual. Now, I do want to preface that spiritual doesn't mean that you're religious. It's just the way that you connect for how you're being, what's your life's purpose. So it can relate to your wellness and your spirit. They're very connected. Um, it can be an example of somebody who can find peace in life. We can't always control circumstances. In fact, a lot of times we can't. But being at peace with an outcome is very important. So just trying to focus on what's your end goal, what's your desire here in life, and using that as a benchmark. It could be a spiritual or religious practice. It could be prayer. It could be reading scripture. It can be reading about nature and how this earth is impacted us in this world and our health. Um, it can be acceptance too, and I feel like acceptance can be doesn't mean you're accepting the negative circumstances, but your acceptance in life. Um, Things that I like to do personally is I like to pray. I will listen to music that I feel like is very fulfilling for me spiritually. And nature walks. My favorite would definitely have to be at the beach. And so those are some real great ways that I love to incorporate spiritual life into my health. And I think in the United States statistics, we do connect with some sort of level of spirituality. Some people with religious, but we all feel like there's a greater being here in our life and a greater purpose of why we're here. Okay, so I think the last section I was going to talk about is social. And your social health can be, and I'm going to read a little bit, is defined as your ability to interact through meaningful relationships with others. And research has shown that the happiest people on the earth have a deep connection to their family, friends, and community. I love that quote. I feel like it's really means a lot to me. And one way to connect is understand healthy boundaries in relationship to your relationships and other and how that relates to your health. Just getting together, and I was going to give you some examples what I do, but I definitely want to highlight one area of research. It's called social determinants of health, and it's a fascinating area of research, and it talks about health determinants in clinical care can impact a person's health by at least 50%, meaning that there's areas of poverty, employment, education can have a very large outcome on your physical health. So there's a lot of research in how to reduce disparities in our life, and there's some areas of the country where we have a really good robust healthcare system, where there's very little, and there's very poor cost of living, and you have poor health infrastructure. So those social areas can impact your health, either good or bad. Um, but there's ways that you can stay connected and incorporate socialism into your health outcomes. So what I like to do is have a real good, strong social network in my life. I want to make sure I'm connected with people that mean something to me. It may be a close friend or a community of friends that you feel that you're very connected with. So I feel like that's one. I feel like common activities. Growing up, I used to ride horses, and so I'm still connected with my horse friend community. And so that's something that you have a connection with in your life. So if you can find a community that you feel very passionate about, I just met with a friend and she loves to be involved in the community choir. So that's her niche of friends that she's very connected with. So there's a lot of great things that you can do. For one thing, I'd like to get together with my sisters for all of our birthdays, and I find that's very I feel like that's very meaningful to me. So my brother had passed away suddenly last year, so that really brought awareness that to all of us sisters that life is too short. So I definitely do look forward to doing something fun. In fact, in a couple weeks, we're getting to get together with my other sister, and we're trying to figure out a fun plan for all of us and our spouses to get together and do. So I feel like the whole area of holistic health, looking at the physical, emotional, spiritual, and social, really has a great impact on your physical well-being. So what I would always recommend in kind of wrapping up this master class is what does holistic health mean to you? Number one, how do you define holistic living? And kind of rank yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, there's no perfect living a holistic life, but you can look at ways that you can improve it. Um, and also assess your holistic health, looking at the physical, mental, social, emotional, and spiritual. Just kind of divine that and look at one aspect of each of those areas and how you can improve it. Maybe for the physical, you want to decrease processed foods. Social, you want to connect with a friend you haven't seen in a long time, and maybe emotional, you want to work on awareness practice and reducing your stress. So just make the goals very simple and achievable, and just set these goals and just try to find one from each category to incorporate and to use in your daily life. And also say that nutrition really should be a priority, and to make sure you're ingesting good nutritious foods in your life and try to get whole foods. And fitness and exercise. I say not only exercise but stretching and movement. Make sure you try to find somewhere in that category to incorporate into your life. Um, Practice some sort of stress management. Find something that you find connected to. So, what I'm connected to, you may want to incorporate something else. So, I would just make sure that you try to find that one thing that you really love and you're very passionate about. And also, spiritual practice is very important to incorporate something that you have connection and meaning to. And overall, just make sure you have, the last one would be make sure you have healthy relationship and a support system, whether it's friends, neighbors, coworkers, family, however you define that. Make sure you have somebody that you feel connected with in your community. Um, does anybody have any questions so far? Um, and so we're going to look at some water filters. I'll have to give you a list of what I have. That's a great question, Maggie. But just make sure at the end of this module that you click the link to get into the drawing for the $500 discount on my program. And also I offer a free 30-minute consultation. It's on my Juniper Functional Health website. And I also put a link into this master class as well. So one link to get the $500, just click it and write holistic. And then there's another link for you to schedule a free 30-minute consultation with me. I hope you enjoy this master class. I found this to be a great joy, and I hope to connect with you guys soon. And thank you, Katie. I hope all of this information was very informative and that you enjoyed it. And let me know any questions or feedback that you might have, because I'm going to be doing another master class this month. So again, just let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you at the next master class. Have a great day.